everyone. I am Dr. Gayatri, Assistant Professor at Smriti College of Pharmaceutical Education, Indore, from the Department of Pharmacology. In our today's class, we will look at what is hyperlipidemia and the drugs used in the treatment of hyperlipidemia, that is anti-hyperlipidemic drugs. The next class of drugs include lipolysis and triglyceride synthesis inhibitors, that is nicotinic acid, which is nothing but vitamin B3. It is also called as niacin. So this nicotinic acid, when it is given, triglycerides and VLDL decrease rapidly, followed by a modest fall in LDL cholesterol and total cholesterol. So when as soon as the patient starts taking nicotinic acid, one of the immediate effects is reduction in triglycerides and VLDL levels, whereas slow effect on a long-term basis is seen, that is reduction in LDL cholesterol and total cholesterol, and relatively lower doses suffice to raise HDL cholesterol. It also reduces lipoprotein A, which is considered to be more atherogenic. And the mechanism of action of these drugs is nicotinic acid inhibits triglyceride synthesis, which results in reduced production of VLDL. Once VLDL is reduced, we know that IDL and LDL are also reduced, because these are products of VLDL. So when triglyceride synthesis is inhibited, VLDL production is reduced, and then IDL and LDL are also reduced. So there is no direct effect on cholesterol and bile acid metabolism while using these drugs, and it inhibits the intracellular lipolysis in adipose tissue and increases the activity of lipoprotein lipase that clears triglycerides. So we understand the function of lipoprotein lipase. So this particular drug, it inhibits the lipolysis inside the adipose tissue, but it increases the activity of lipoprotein lipase that clears triglycerides. Coming to adverse effects, to see a hypolipidemic action, these drugs have to be given in large doses, because of which they are poorly tolerated. So only about half of the patients are able to take full doses. So its adverse effect, one of the major adverse effect of nicotinic acid is because of its cutaneous vasodilator action. So nicotinic acid also has a vasodilator, cutaneous vasodilator action, because of which we can see flushing, heat, itching and rashes, especially in the blush area after every dose. And this effect is because of release of prostaglandin D2 in the skin. So when nicotinic acid is taken after every dose, it causes cutaneous vasodilation because of the release of prostaglandin D2. So nicotinic acid causes release of prostaglandin D2 in the skin, which results in cutaneous vasodilation, which results in flushing, heat, itching, especially in the blush area after every dose. So this adverse effect can be minimized by starting with a low dose taken along with the meals, and then gradually increasing the dose, and then use of sustained release medication, as well as taking aspirin. We know that aspirin inhibits prostaglandin, so it can be taken along with aspirin. Aspirin can be taken just before administering niacin, so that prostaglandin synthesis can be inhibited and this effect can be inhibited. And another drug called laropipran, it is a specific anti-flushing drug. So this drug can be taken along with nicotinic acid to minimize this adverse effect. Other adverse effects include dyspepsia, vomiting, diarrhea, and peptic ulcers. If the patient has peptic ulcers, they may also be activated. Dryness and hyperpigmentation of the skin, and then liver dysfunction and jaundice. it has the liver damage which it does is very serious and is an important risk while taking this drug. Other adverse effects include hyperglycemia, that results in precipitation of diabetes. Because of this adverse effect, this drug should not be given to diabetic patients. And hyperuricemia and gout. So this drug should not also be given to patients who are suffering from gout. And atrial arrhythmias. Drug interactions include postural hypotension may occur in patients who are taking antihypertensives, and then risk of myopathy due to statins is also increased. And it is given at a starting dose of 100 mg thrice daily, and it can be increased to 2 to 4 grams per day in divided doses. And it should be taken just after food to minimize the adverse effect, that is flushing and itching. Contraindications include, as we have seen, diabetes, gout, pregnant women and children. The next class of hypolipidemic drugs is sterol absorption inhibitors, that is ezetimibe. So it is a comparatively new drug which acts by inhibiting the absorption of cholesterol and phytosterol. So this basically prevents the absorption of cholesterol itself. And then mechanism includes, it interferes with a specific cholesterol transport protein, that is NPC1L1 in the intestinal mucosa, because this protein is responsible for transport of cholesterol, and this particular drug, it interferes with this transport, which results in reduced absorption of both dietary as well as biliary cholesterol. And then because of this action, a compensatory mechanism comes into action which increases hepatic cholesterol synthesis, but LDL and cholesterol level is lowered by 15 to 20%. And enhanced cholesterol synthesis can be blocked by statins. So there are multiple mechanisms which are involved in balancing the cholesterol synthesis. So when this particular drug, it blocks the absorption of dietary and biliary cholesterol, compensatory mechanisms come into action which increases the cholesterol synthesis. So this effect can be inhibited by using statins. We know that statins inhibit cholesterol synthesis. So both cholesterol absorption is inhibited and cholesterol synthesis is also inhibited. So this drug is best to be taken in combination with statins. And then when used alone, it is a weak hypercholesterolemic drug, because it is obvious that when it is taken alone, it prevents the absorption, but because of compensatory mechanism, cholesterol synthesis is increased. So overall cholesterol level is not reduced, because of which it is, if it is taken alone as monotherapy, it shows very weak effect. Therefore, it is best to be taken along with statins. So its main value is to supplement the statins. So if a patient is not showing sufficient effect when kept only on statins as well, even in that condition, that patient, this drug can be combined in that patient's therapy. Adverse effects, there are no specific adverse effects except reversible hepatic dysfunction and rarely myositis can be seen with this drug, and dose is 10 mg once daily. So this is about drugs used in the treatment of hyperlipidemia or dyslipidemias, that is anti-hyperlipidemic drugs or hypolipidemic drugs. Hope you all understood. Thank you.